damn it, Bubba.
I mean, it's true. I mean, hell, I paid for that shit. Best believe I'm gonna use it or finish it up. Like, I ain't letting that shit go to waste. That's $1.99.
Put some rum in there.
Indeed. But
Oh, it's a little too early for the rum. Plus, I gotta work tonight. I'll get to drinking the rum. Hell, I'll end up killing the whole bottle.
and let's see, where's the damn rift thing? Bunk. Make sure to friggin'. Oh wait, let me make sure. Yep, we're getting audio. Tweet this bitch out.
Fire says might need to change that title.
Oh, what did I got?
I don't know.
Leo Convoy reviews.
Okay, well, Canada is allowing what with animals now? The federal level. Someone's watching, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Okay, we're public too. Good. I was about to say.
I usually pull it up when you start streaming so I can see comments.
All right. Covering. What's this? Just hit our goal. The funding page. I bet development. Okay, that's nice. ACP. Sorry, I just got distracted. I was reading about this. Covering how Canada may be allowing its citizens to have sex with animals. I have 7 news sources. Because I had trouble believing it was real.
You and me both.
Yeah. Okay. Canada. Sex with animals. Legal.
Hi, Grizz. Hi, Crash.
Okay, howdy.
And howdy to y'all watching.
So I've got so many of these to get to, I don't even know where to start, so I guess we'll just get to this first one here. Special thanks to John Bubba in the call right here who pointed this my way. I just looked over it and said, no. I was looking forward to doing nothing today. Anyways, crime.
Damn, Bo ruining my plans.
Yeah, crime of bestiality limited to penetration. Supreme
What?
Court. Yeah, no. So from skimming ahead, from what I've read in some of these, you still in Canada cannot penetrate an animal, but you can coerce it to give it you fellatio. I've read ahead. You know what? Let's just carry on here.
What the fuck, Canada?
Yeah, I know. What the fuck, indeed. Warning: content of this story may offend some readers. Most of them, yes. Story dealing with bestiality. The Supreme Court of Canada has upheld the acquittal of a British Columbia man in a decision that defines the crime of bestiality as penetration involving a person and animals. Now, here's the funny thing about that guy. I believe he's done some things with a younger girl, and they just decided to give him damn it, you had a gimme here. You totally had a gimme. The BC man was found guilty 3 years ago of 13 accounts of arising from years of sexual molestation of his 2 stepdaughters. That's a little awkwardly worded. The charges involved 1 account of bestiality under the criminal code stemming from sexual activity involving the older girl and the family dog. By the way, is my audio coming through good in the stream? Everybody happy? Guys?
Yeah, it's coming through great.
Alright, good. Alright. The charges include 1 count of bestiality under the criminal code stemming from sexual activity involving the older girl and the family dog. Fucking hell, it's going to be a long day. The man successfully challenged the bestiality conviction in the BC Court of Appeal based on the fact that the activity did not involve penetration. The man cannot be named to protect the identities of his stepdaughters. I'm not going to argue that, I guess. Fucking Jesus. In a 6-1 decision Thursday, the Supreme Court affirmed that ruling rejecting the notion of bestiality is an offense encompassing sexual activity of any kind between a person and an animal. Um, I know in America and to some degree England that rulings, especially at the Supreme Court level, tend to send a precedent. I don't know about Canada, but I would suggest or suppose perhaps, I don't know. I guess we'll look into and hear more about this later on. But yeah, and an issue was whether updates to the criminal code in 1955 and 1988 altered the meaning of the crime. The term bestiality has well established a legal meaning and refers to sexual intercourse between a human and an animal. Penetration has always been an understanding to be an essential element of bestiality, wrote the Justice Thomas Cromwell on behalf of the court. I don't know. I feel like there's a Bill Clinton joke about when he said he didn't have sex with that woman. I guess in Canada he wouldn't have. An oral joke there. Moving along. Parliament may wish to consider whether the present provisions adequate to protect children and animals. So wait. I'm not even. I was about to sit there and say, under that precedent, if you're able to say, does that just not count as sex now, oral in Canada? Because my word, that's setting up a lot of room for child abuse. That's right where my mind went right
Yeah,
after.
that's
Yeah, that's nope. That I disagree. I entirely disagree. I strongly, adamantly, with every fiber of my being. But it is for the Parliament, not the courts, to expand the scope of the criminal liability for this ancient offense. I don't know. I'm just looking at the front cover of let's see, they we probably need. I guess Canada needs some new blood in some of those old codgers sitting there up there. Anyways, right now, um, a parliament may wish to. Okay, we already did that. In a dissenting opinion, Justice Rosalie Abel, it'll be on screen, said that a great deal of difficult accepting that in modern amendments to the criminal code that Parliament is forgetting to bring the offense out of the Middle Ages. Probably, I think they're hung up about the wording, I'm going to guess. So that's the first news article, which comes from CBC News. If all of these intend to be bad news websites, I am naturally open. If you manage to notice this during the stream, by all means, say so on the side or leave a comment down below once this is no longer live. Because one of the sources was Breitbart, and I know that's not everyone's bag. So this is from the Daily Mail. Case involving a man convicting of sexual abuse, tried to coach his dog into abusing his stepdaughter by using. So wait a minute. I'm deeply confused here. They're not counting the fact that he used his dog on his kid as bestiality. I was about to say, okay, so it'd be one thing, and which I don't condone in any way, shape, or form, if he would have coaxed his dog to do this to himself. But why? What? I guess perhaps it's not listed that they just decided, look, we've got him on, the child abuse. Maybe it's a technicality issue, I guess. I don't know. It's a very strange precedent. But yeah, anyways, the Canadian... Sorry, trying to take it on a little too fast. The Canadian Supreme Court has ruled that sex acts with a pet are legal as long as the animal is not penetrated or suffers from any form of injury. The case involving a man convicted of sexual abuse. 2 of his stepdaughters have been convicted of bestiality. Okay, something about doggling off, the girl being 15. Court ruled that the man was guilty at a lower court because he was receiving sexual gratification from the act. However, the man, known as DLW, successfully challenged the bestiality decision in the appeals court. According to the Canadian Law and Law Times, the High Court decided that a strict interpretation of the law, which dates from the English 1861 Offences Against the Person Act, required penetration for bestiality conviction. Okay, so now I think I get the idea for that one dissenting judge. I think she was, I'm going to assume, against it. I don't know. Benefit of the doubt. Animal right. Hello, Songheart. Did you know that it's now legal to have sex with animals, apparently in Canada?
I read the article.
Yeah, there's a couple anyways. The Supreme Court said the Parliament could have updated the interpretation of what constitution bestiality as it wished, and claimed that it was not the role of the courts to introduce new criminal offenses. So I think that this is going to be a loophole that's potentially closed later on, hopefully. According to the ruling, courts will not conclude that a new crime has been created, and the words used to do so are certain and definitive, so they pass the buck, which is very unfortunate. This approach does not only reflect the appropriate receptive roles of the Parliament and the courts, but the fundamental requirements of criminal law that people must know that constitutional punishable conduct and what does not, especially when liability is at stake. Blah, 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 blah. Change the law and order. Speaking after the hearing, she said the Supreme Court's decision is a wake-up call to the law protecting animals are severely out of date. As of today, Canadian law gives animal abusers license to use animals for their own sexual gratification. This is completely unacceptable and contradictory to society's exceptions and cannot be allowed to continue. And I'd like to, if I'm allowed to on YouTube, point out that at the executive, legislative, and judicial level, as far as I understand it, we've all put forth a law called the Pact Law to protect animals in America. So you're a bit behind us. Catch up. Peter Senkoff, who argued that the case as an intervener at the case, animal justice drove home the importance of ensuring our law protecting animals from sexual abuse. This decision reflects the fact that the Supreme Court was first to work with our outdated laws. Okay. Canadians care deeply about protecting animals, the type of cruelty, outdated laws, and so forth and so on. Okay. So let's kill these two. Wow, there is surprisingly, it's not just the same dead shit over and over again. I was expecting to have to skim because of that. In the, well, it'll be on screen here, ruling the country's high court ruled that a man who was on trial for raping and sexually exploiting his own daughter wasn't guilty of bestiality. The man reportedly smeared okay. I don't want to keep reading that. Court, as a result of the rape case, the court ruled 7-1. Yeah, it is a bit of a same recap. A life choice, geez, sounds like so politically. Wait, wait a minute. Recent article from the Daily Mail lamented on the troubling new trend of animal brothels rising in Germany. I did not know about that. That might be a stream for another time, as many humans are claiming sex with animals is just another lifestyle choice. Yeah, I did not know this was an issue over in Germany.
Neither did I.
Yeah, we lost our only German a ways back, so we're looking for a new German. Anyone? We're soliciting a living German to come hang out with us, so you could keep us in the queue about the goings and happenings of any of this weird shit. Holy Mother of God! Things to do.
Animal brothels in Germany. This takes petting zoo to a whole new level of weirdness. Okay,
so the one Renegade Tribune. So that if you want to not trust that one, I understand. But from what I'm seeing, this is our third article. So here we are at the Independent. Most bestiality is legal, declares Canadian Supreme Court. Keep in mind here, I am not a legal expert, nor do I imagine any of these news articles are legal experts, and perhaps we are jumping to conclusions. Read more about a woman who taped a dog's mouth shut and found guilty of animal cruelty. Okay, well, that's a different story. DLW's attorney argued that bestiality linked to buggery or sodomy with animals beginning with 1892. I thought those were the same thing. Anyways, but it's still not defined as encompassing every sex act with animals. Get the hell out of my way. Is there a way to close this thing? Here we go. Submitted. The court ruled 7-1. Sorry, I'm just making sure that this is according to the DLDs. Okay, enough of that. Skimming through. Employed the Parliament to pass a modernized Animal Protection Act. Goes without saying, but all the same, we still appreciate anyone who tries to follow through with that. A lot of pop-ups on this one, so that's the, I believe, third or fourth. This is from the Signal. In a controversial quadratic what is a quasiatic ruling? That's the second time, I think, the one or two back. Same things about peanut butter rulings, just skimming through. In April, animal advocates were still protesting in state capitol. This to raise awareness that Ohio has no law outlawing sexual exploitations of animals after a 61-year-old was arrested for committing sex acts. Is there like an Ohio in Canada or... Oh, wait. Yeah, I guess I have to skim back up here. Is this a different one? Questioning trouble here. Oh, here we go. The questions is troublesome one here in the U.S., as well as dividing liberals serving as a watch to conservatives watchword. Recently, for instance, animal rights activists in Ohio were rallying for a legislation to make more explicit that sex between humans and animals is forbidden by state law.
Hey, Anthony, a couple people are pointing out that this articles you're reading are old and that they've since cleared up the loopholes.
Oh. Okay, then. Well, good to know. Well, does anyone else have anything to talk about?
Sorry, Anthony.
Yeah, my main concern was I was like, I really want to make absolutely sure that this isn't BS. Oh, okay, it's not BS, but it's old. All right, well, I feel like we beat that to death.
Oh, okay. I was wondering because I saw a report there, and I was like, wait a minute, what the hell? That's why I asked, like, wait a minute, y'all can look into it a little bit more because I was like, this seems a little out of date.
June 10th, skimming through. Well, to be fair, I think many of them didn't have the date front and center. This one did. So, yeah, nope, I'll eat that one. It's old hat. So, what's everybody up to?
Hell, I'll help you. Let me go get my ketchup.
I wanted to give a shout out to Pool Guy. He did a freaking Patreon chat last time that I missed out, or Snapchat, or Snapchat. Super Chat. There we go. Sorry, still early. Yeah, I guess I'm really happy that Canada did the right thing, as far as I've been told recently. I'm doing all right. How are you? Thanks, Danny. Well, that was awkward. Well, theoretically, Kieran, I didn't provide false information, just outdated information. No good is having a stroke, thanks. Funny. Technically, this information is outdated. All sexual acts are illegal in Canada around 2019. That old. Oof, finally closed up the loopholes and existed since early 2016. Okay. I've raised children and love animals. I'm so enraged right now. Well, I'm glad that we can all calm down. Me too.
No shit.
Yeah.
That'd be a hell of a note to get somebody to get off on. Well, you see, Your Honor, since my client did not exactly penetrate that dog, the dog only licked on him. He is not an animal screwer.
Jesus Christ.
That'd be one hell of a way to get out of it.
I didn't want to go into it too much because they kept bringing up his daughter, and I was like, this is just... It's having to say it once and move on, but having to repeatedly read it over and over again was giving me like a bit of... yeah. Oh, the history of bestiality laws is weird. Well, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Archive Wolf! This person right here. Great channel. Everybody should go check them out. Let's see. I'll give them a plug while we're at it. Everybody should head on down to this channel. This is the one I think it is. Yeah. I'm going to give this... Everyone should check this channel out. I didn't think that there was anything else to figure out on Kiro and all the that whole crew, but they actually went above and beyond the Call of Duty on that stuff. Actually, let's see. Okay, the PAC Act. Yeah, I'm all caught up on that channel. But I deeply suggest everyone check that out. It'll be at the bottom of the description. Oh no, I was just chilling your work. Let's see. Okay, now I archived the wolf. Lol, funny. Peanut butter and balls combination better than PB and J. Like, I'm probably not going to be cool saying peanut butter out loud, or at least in reference to, like, every time I read peanut butter, I've started to revolt. After, yeah, oh Lord.
Like, oh Lord, Jesus, take the wheel.
You know what? We had a nice, wholesome hangout the other day. What was that anime we were watching the other day, Rouge? I want to show something for, like, fans and give them something, like, positive to go check out.
Wasn't it like restaurants at the end of the world?
I think so. Crap. Here, let me blank the screen. Or
Yeah, restaurants to another world.
I'll just because I remember saying it to Kiji. One sec. Well, actually, you know what? Fucking, I didn't say anything fucking inappropriate. It's called. Yeah, Restaurant to Another World. You nailed it. I highly recommend that. Isn't that part of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? No, it's just some anime. Which we totally didn't watch on some illegal website. I reckon I support the official, if only. Look. I'm already buying Disney Plus, which, by the way, when we probably get out of column, Brony wakes the hell up. We'll go sit down and watch The Mandalorian. And we also gotta
And the new Harley.
When does it debut? Out of curiosity.
Harley debuts on Friday.
Well, yes, I know that, and I'm sure it's probably out now. Just wondering what time of the day does it pop out?
I'm not sure.
I must be one of the very few people that has not sat down and watched The Mandalorian yet.
You're missing out,
The
Bubba.
pilot is, at the very least, the pilot is fucking tremendous. I'd argue it's the best one. It's hard to say that about any show. The best description of Restaurant at the End of the World is basically like it's a G-rated version of Food Wars. Which you wouldn't yeah. It's nice, it's wholesome, it's people like sitting. I don't want to. It's hard to explain. You'd have to watch it. I saw an ad for it on Crunchyroll. Why there's such a thing as fetish for food. Well, they're not. There's not visual orgasms like in Food Wars.
Oh God, yeah. No, we talked about that. We're like, oh, this is so much nicer.
The only real reason I'd watched it, I've had people suggest it for me. I think there was a guy named Headlong of Equestria who was sitting down watching that show with like a 15, 14-year-old. And I was like, well, let's see how inappropriate it is. And I was watching it with somebody we really don't talk about anymore, and I forget another individual, and we're like, no. No. If we saw a grown adult watching this with our 15-year-old, we'd be like, that's got to stop right now. It's no mas. If you're watching this with your friends and I were in a parent, I'd still stop you, but I wouldn't be like, hey, what are you doing? Not to mention that person was buying that kid of like a bunch of like gifts like candy and like tablets and shit, and I was like, this looks really suspect and creepy. Holy crap, it's a profanity filter. I mean, I don't have anything turned on. I guess I could try and go through... Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Done. What are you trying to type out, Lapist? I'd be careful. YouTube's really cracking down, and they're even going after accounts without content. So if it's super edgy, save it for. I can't even say Twitter is slightly more freaking free than YouTube, so arguably at different points. Didn't you confront a guy who watched Food Wars? Yeah, I just mentioned that. The individual in question's Headlong of Equestria.
Well, I know they're cracking down hard on Facebook. I got half of my friends list in the Facebook jail right now.
Yeah, I think Hateful Tate just got kicked off of Twitter again, or at least suspended, or I don't know. I don't even know what he did.
What he always does.
Yeah, he
someone
does.
off who deserves it.
You ever see Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
He's Jazz getting kicked out of the house again.
Ow! The funniest scene I ever saw on that show, though, was when he actually threw Uncle Phil out.
Content Cop, I heard about that. He get deleted on Twitter or YouTube? And just for responding to Gash here.
Well, speaking of gashes, I was looking into something on that Jessica Yaniv guy.
No, I heard Jessica got themselves in trouble again. YouTube
Mm.
is being mean to Leafy. Oh, that was iDubbbz. I didn't actually see the video myself. It's supposed to be going to deleting all kinds of critiques like Content Cop. So I think I saw this from what was his name? The guy from Game Grumps, the original guy. The meme lord everybody always quotes.
I think I know who you're talking about. I
John
can't remember his
John
name.
Tron, that's it. So yeah, he's like, if you know any good troll videos out there, download them. I'm like, yeah, download them, upload them to BitChute. we may have come to the dead end here unless somebody manages to hammer it into freaking old Susan Wojcicki or whatever.
I just hope they don't screw over my boy Donut Operator or Mike the Cop.
I mean, hey, if it happens, if you guys aren't following me on BitChute by now, I've been chilling it. It's in the title. Here, I'll even show you guys. You would only have to go to the banner here, and it's the second one right after Twitter. Oh no, that's the Patreon. Yeah, the third one here, or the fourth one is BitChute. I suggest everybody getting an account, asking your favorite YouTube content creators to back up their work there, so if one day they poof, unless, one day, if you guys don't move over, one day you're going to be like, well, I guess I'm going to have to watch The Daily Show. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to have to throw off Linus Tech Tips. Now he said something mean about Apple. They'll come for him last, but they'll get him eventually. Geno's. The thing I heard about Jessica Yaniv is that she, according to, I think it's Blair White. Is that it?
There's Blair White, another guy named Sinatra says.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Sinatra. It's a shame he didn't get his monetization back. For Blair, she suggested that Jessica was like in like live video calls, gratifying themselves in front of kids.
And also suing a gynecologist because they refused to work on them.
Yes,
Since yeah. It's like he ain't got lady parts, but he's wanting to go see a lady doctor deal with his man parts, even though they're specifically trained for lady parts.
Well, Jessica's in Canada. I know in America that for like I think it's frivolous lawsuits, you could supposedly, allegedly, potentially countersue for that sort of abuse. In Jessica's case, considering that they have a history now, doesn't sound impossible. I don't know what kind of money Jessica has. I heard they got in legal trouble for brandishing that taser in the stream with Blair White.
Because I remember serves me right, tasers, stun guns are illegal up in Canada.
I believe they're not legal in Illinois. Or at least the last time I tried to look on Amazon, I was like, "Oh, that'd be kind of cool to have one." I bet you it's not even that expensive. Now, I don't believe I can get them.
Yeah, I think they're also illegal in D.C. and I believe they're also outlawing them in California, Connecticut, and I want to say New York City, but I'm not 100% sure. Which to me makes no goddamn logical freaking sense.
No, are guns legal over there?
In Canada?
Well,
they are, but they ain't at the same time. Like they have stricter laws, if memory serves me correctly. Because I know one guy, he's been had to turn around at the Canadian border a lot because he had his gun in his truck.
well, it's better than letting you in than arresting you after the fact.
No shit. Because he's a big rigger and everything, and he'd have his gun sitting right there in the cab of his truck with him when he's hauling a load up to Canada, and they'd have to turn him around. You can't bring that gun in the country.
You're making me imagine he's like the Squidbillies where he's got it on the back behind his head.
No, on his crazy ass, he probably would.
For no good reason, there's a profanity filter here that it's like is blocking my expertise. Well, hello, Leo. Yeah, as it turns out, Leo, I'd found there was a article that John had found that I'd follow up on, and my first thing was, well, I better make sure that this is legit. The I, well, I can't say the good news because I don't want that to be true. The I guess the credible news was that I found it on 7 different news websites. I didn't realize that it was old, and the loophole about them being able to have non-penetrative sex with animals had been banned. So it's already been handled, thankfully. But hey, I did, for the most part, mostly, do my homework. Let's see. Non-restricted guns are standard rifles, shotguns, handguns, semi-automatic rifles are restricted. Okay, that sounds fair. Yeah. I just wasn't
What?
thinking about the date.
Yeah. What is about dumb as shit? Because that don't make no logical sense. Come on now, you're restricted from having something like a revolver going into Canada, but hey, criminals ain't exactly gonna care.
What is a standard rifle? Just like hunting? Like a bolt action or
Uh,
something?
yeah, like a bolt action, lever action, or pump action rifle, or breech action, or maybe semi-automatic as well. But it had to be something like with a wood stock, like your like a Remington 30-06, basically semi-automatic or something, since they're standard. But something like an AR-15, AK, something like that, they'd probably have considered that restricted.
Yeah. Since we're talking about firearms, I remember finding when for the loophole to actually get your hands on a fully automatic weapon in the United States, you have to get a gun that was made before the weapons were banned, as I understand it.
Oh yeah. Well, first to get a fully automatic weapon, you have to get an NSF tax stamp, and that can cost about $200 to $300. You have to get the highest level of law enforcement in your area, like your sheriff or chief of police or whatever, to authorize it. Then you got to get numerous background checks done and everything. Go through a long waiting list. Then you got to find a weapon that was made, I believe, is before 1986 or 1988. That's fully automatic, like an M16, but you could pay somewhere between $30,000 to $50,000 for that.
Yeah, like as long as you get like something like an old Thompson machine gun or some shit like that.
Yeah, but you got to go through a lot of red tape and jump through a lot of hoops. Oh my lord, you got to go through so much.
Well, I'm not horribly disturbed if basically you have to all be like a high level gun collector to have a fully automatic. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd sound be cool as hell to have, but then I'd be tempted to use the damn thing.
Eh, I personally wouldn't want a fully automatic because I've shot fully automatics before and they scared the shit out of me.
Have you ever fired what's it called? The bump stock?
I used a homemade bump stop, a rubber band and a stick.
Yeah, I've seen it where you're able to just if you can jam your finger right, you can get the same effect. But
Yeah, there's a guy I know. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, it didn't look like you were able to aim it worth a damn doing that though.
No, that's the problem because if the weapon's not designed to shoot like that, you are not going to have accuracy worth a damn. Like, okay, you shot a 22 rifle, right?
I haven't had a chance to fire a gun yet.
Oh, okay. Well, a 22 rifle, it's a poodle popper. It's very low recoil, very easy to use. It's a favorite for hunting small game like squirrels and stuff like that, and or using it for killing a stray dog or something there that might be rabbit or something. That's why they call it a poodle popper.
Okay.
Very, very, very low recoil. A man I know took a Remington Speedmaster semi-automatic. You fire it just as fast as you can pull the trigger. Holds 18 rounds, if memory serves me right. He put a nail in that sucker and rigged it to where he pushed the nail one way, it's semi-automatic. You pull the nail back the other way, it's full auto. Now, I, at the time, weighed 300 pounds. I put all my body weight down on the damn barrel of that thing, and he touched the powder off of that son bitch going full auto, and it lifted me off my feet.
Jesus.
And this was just a 22 rifle. You can shoot that thing one-handed. There ain't no recoil to it. But
Damn.
it just wasn't. It just ain't designed for that because it doesn't have the compression spring. It doesn't have the recoil mechanism to dampen that recoil. It's not designed for full auto. So if you want to fire something that ain't made for that, you better have a strong grip.
All right, good to know. What the deadliest threats in the globe, though.
Because I once shot an AK-47 that was converted to full auto, and I had a little trouble holding on that son bitch. Jesus Christ.
Well, with the clarification, I think we actually got through everything that we were supposed to do here, guys. Sorry we didn't have too much more to talk about. Does anybody got anything that they want to shill?
Nope.
Well, oh, I was going to suggest this to Hateful later if he'd have been around right now. Since his audio is slightly skewed, likely because of his connection. Oh, wait a minute. I prefer longswords, but I'm training Holkshin Ituru Kente. I can't even. It'll be on screen. Everybody read Leo's comment.
Now, I'll say this for Leo there. Personally, long swords are all right and everything, but I prefer the firearm myself because let's face it, I don't like to get too close to somebody because my bad knees and my bad ankles, I can't throw hands like I used to, so I just rather touch the powder off.
So yeah, getting back to my point for if I guess I'll probably have to tell the Hatefulist himself. The way he could probably get around, or this goes for anybody who does a stream where your audio or your connection is shit, you can't really touch it up. He could easily just hand off the what's it called, the freaking key. What's it called? Let me look down here. The stream key. And I'll probably suggest that you probably have someone else stream for him on his channel. That'll get around that extra tinny sound he has during his stream. Alright, well, I think that's it, unfortunately, guys. Probably be in touch if anything new comes up. Things have been mostly quiet as far as I could tell, unless anybody has anything they want to address before we go off. Alright. We're probably going to go watch some shit later on. Godspeed, everybody, and